When I first looked at the doors, they were, and these doors are 100 years old, out in the elements. They were what a 100-year-old door out in the open would be in. They were falling apart, rapidly deteriorating, and had to be rebuilt. Each door had its own specific problem, and each door had to be rebuilt. So they were in pretty bad shape, and it was drastically challenging. It was a lot more than I ever thought it would be. The reward of starting a project and getting to the end of it, or starting restoration of a door when it's fallen apart, and then hanging the door and it actually works properly, there's nothing like that. Basically, we started the process of restoration of the doors maybe a month, 6 weeks into the pandemic. And then working in a church, being somebody who enjoys their faith, a church is a wonderful setting to go through something like this, because you're confronted with your faith by the pandemic. And the appropriate place to confront your faith is in a church. St. John's is such a beautiful church. It's got some incredible woodwork, and it was good for the soul to be here during a really hard time that I'm sure everybody understands. The door, when we started, was pretty much bolted to the frame, and all the hardware had fallen off and everything. It was not functioning as a door anymore. It was just a wall. That door had 60 separate parts to it, 60 pieces, 30 of them had to be replaced. Oak, probably imported from Europe somewhere, maybe Germany. I went back to my shop and milled 30 separate parts to replace, and using American oak on them. Once you get into it, after you've milled everything with table saws, routers, such, you just get into the handwork of it using handheld cutting tools, chisel type stuff, to get it down and get it into, so it fits into where it needs to go and all of that. When you're restoring something, if you have to deal with removing old finish, worst case scenario is you take a sander to it. So the sanding, and that was the thing I knew I was getting into, was days and days of just sanding these doors down. Appropriately, the sander I use is a Festool, which is also a German tool, and it's a wonderful tool. then through the restoration process with dye stains and all of that, match the new wood to the antique wood. But with the doors in the shape they were in, not only was I pulling off the old finishes and such, but also rejuvenating the wood, just because it had, 100 years of UV damage destroys the wood. With the color of the wood, to get the color back to its original shape, you get the wood back to its bare, and then you're using stains, dyes. You're also using 25 years of experience, having worked with the color. When you work on a craft of that nature, when you know where you started, and when you get to the end process of it, there's great joy in seeing that. But also, when you restore something for people who are connected to it, and you get to see their eyes light up when they see what you're doing, and then they give you this positive feedback, that's almost worth all the gold. It's something you get to carry with you. So you get the reward of completing a wonderful project, but you also get the reward of how it affects other people, and I'm blessed with that. I'm blessed to be able to do that for a living.